right. Hello, everyone. This is Steve Cook with Lifeonaire, coming to our 2018 Lifeonarie Foundations Call. The Lifeonaire Foundations Calls, for all of you who have never participated in what we do, is really a time when I can communicate the Lifeonaire principles to you, the Lifeonaire principles that are changing people's lives all across the country. I want you to really get a good grasp of these principles as time goes by. I think that when we have this understanding and I can begin to reveal truth to you as to why some people experience abundant life and others don't, that it's going to be something that's very helpful to all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started with this. I'll just tell you that before I got on this call, I really wanted to do a good job with it. I was just sitting here and just praying that I'd have the right words to be able to say. And while I am going to be following an outline, I hope that what I share with you is something that will begin to make a difference in your life. So I'll just tell you this. I love when we have somebody who comes to a Lifeonaire event who's a young person. And, you know, that young person is walking into the room, maybe a teenager, early 20s. They heard about what we do, and somebody who loves them, cares for them, said, hey, I think you should go to this event, and you come. And they always show up at these events, and they're so filled with energy. And some of them, you know, there might be some fear or something there as far as, you know, what am I getting into, or, you know, I'm going to be an adult. But there's still this excitement that they have for life. They're really excited about it. And, you know, I sat here and I was thinking about this the other day when I was asked to speak a little bit about Lifeonaire to somebody or to a group. And this idea came to my mind, is that here we have all these people who are very, very excited about life. They're excited to experience it. They're excited to do things. They're excited to move into this thing that is, they get to build it, they get to design it, they get to do what they want to do with it. And I have never met a single person who, as they're entering into adulthood, who said that they wanted their life to suck. Now, I'll just ask you, forgive me for using that term, but I really want to just go ahead and emphasize a point here. I don't ever find anybody who that's their desire in life. In fact, I've never saw somebody who's ever wanted to be consumed day to day, week to week, month to month with struggling through life. I've never seen a single person who's had that goal. And I've never had anybody who's come to me and said, my goal in life is to be financially struggling. I want to struggle financially. I've never met a single person who has ever said that. I have never met anyone who has ever come to me and said, you know, I want to be controlled by my debt. I doubt that any of you has ever come across anyone who has ever said, these are my goals in life, that this is what I want. In fact, I'll go out on a limb and say that most people want the exact opposite of that. Some version of that. They want something that would, where they don't struggle day to day. They have peace, they have stability. They're not struggling financially, but things are easy and they're comfortable. They don't want to be controlled by debt. In fact, when I talk to most people, they want to be debt-free. And so, you know, if in fact people want the exact opposite, no one is making it their goal to have all of these other struggles and all of these other difficulties in their lives, I think that we have to ask ourselves the question, why are there so many Americans who are going down this path which is leading to the exact opposite of what they want? That wasn't their goal in life. They're not sitting here saying, I want to be consumed with struggles. Yet, that's the path that life is taking them down. They're not saying, I want to struggle financially. Yet, that's the path that they're going down. They're not saying, I want to be in debt up to my eyeballs. Yet, that's the path that they're going down. If I sat down and we just walked out onto the street and we started polling people today, and we just started asking them, hey, you know, why do you think that this happens? What's going on? I think we would get a whole different, slew of answers. And, some people are going to say, well, it's the government's fault, and the government is working against us. And and they're the ones who are doing it. Or, we live in this corrupt world, and all the corruption that, there's people doing it. Or it's the rich who, are controlling the little guy, and they're the ones who are dictating our lives. Or some people might say that there's cultural differences, and others are going to say that there's people who have certain privileges, and therefore life can be better for them. The bottom line is, in these situations, people are passing the buck. They're just not taking. They're finding it easier to blame somebody else for the reason why they're not living and experiencing the life that they want to live. And that's something that I want to come back to again later. Instead, I want to just go back and I want to explore this question: why are Americans getting the exact opposite of what it is that they really want? Why are most people doing that? And I don't want to make that an absolute statement, because that is not the case for everybody. But I will certainly say there's an awful lot of people. I would go out on a limb and say the majority of people are not living and experiencing the life that they would have hoped. And that certainly wasn't their goal. These are good people. They're smart people. People who are ambitious, people who are educated, who want something more. And they find themselves living a life that's difficult. The exact opposite of what it is that they had ever wanted. In their mind, they are doing everything right. They're making many good decisions. They are trying to do the right things with their money. They are getting educated. They're going out of their way to figure out how to do things better, because it is their desire to have a better life. Yet they're still not getting it. They might have a life that looks pretty, it looks good on the outside. They might drive a nice car, have a nice home, but deep down inside, the pressures of life are consuming them. And they don't experience peace. They're not experiencing much stability. They're certainly not experiencing maybe financial freedom, or even freedom to live and experience life the way that they would like to. Instead, I'll say that there's hardly any well-intentioned Americans that have not experienced this in some shape, way, or form at some point or another in their lives, if they're not experiencing it right now in this very moment. They're finding themselves frustrated with, gosh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Why are things not better for me? Is probably the question that a lot of people are asking themselves. And I've done it all right. The results should have been different, is probably what's going on. So what is wrong? What is taking place here? Why are we struggling with this? Is a question that I really want us to dig into. And I'm going to go out, just simply say, perhaps all the right that everybody believes they're doing is not what's right. Perhaps it's a lie. Maybe all the things that we're being taught, all the things that are supposed to be good, maybe that's not true. Just maybe it's a lie. And I want to say that no one is willfully going to go out and do something wrong. Again, it's not anybody's goal to have a life that doesn't measure up to what they had hoped for. No one says, I want a life that stinks. And so no one's willfully going down these paths that are leading to a difficult life. So no one's going to choose to do that. So what happens is we end up getting on a path that we believe is going to lead to abundant life. But many people get on that path and then find out it's just not working for them. So I want to go back to the beginning here. What happens is people are getting on the wrong path. They are pursuing a lie. They've been lied to. We live in a world that is lying to us. So I want to go now to something that the Bible says. And this verse, John 10:10. John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Now, let me first just say, I believe that the Bible is true. I believe it's the inerrant word of God. You might not believe in God at all, and that is okay. What I want to ask of you is to just explore just this with me. I want to dig deeper into what it is that this is saying, and I want you to really recognize that there are two forces that are being talked about here. There's one force that is building up life, and there's another one that is tearing down life. One's building, the other is stealing it, it's killing it, and it's destroying it. The other is giving of it. So Jesus is the one who is talking in this verse. He's the one who says that I have come that they may have life and that they may have it to the full. The exact opposite is the thief comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Well, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy life. The one thing that we all so passionately desire to have. And so I want you to start thinking about, how does the thief do this? I mean, here we've got these two forces, one building, one tearing down. If you wanted to destroy somebody's life, how would you go about doing it? Now, don't take that too seriously, because I don't want you to get too deep into that. But I want you to just think in terms here. We've got, let's say, a serial killer is on the loose in the city that you live in. The serial killer in time is going to get caught. But if there's a serial killer who is going around in the city that you live in, you're going to start taking precautions. You're going to hide from it. You're not going to go out and put yourself into harm's way. You're not going to go to the places where they have been committing the crimes. If you are somebody who fits the demographic of who they've been going after, you're going to do everything you can to protect yourself and to not go out there. We will not willingly put ourselves into harm's way when we know that there is a thief who's out there to steal, kill, and destroy, and rob us of our lives. And so eventually that serial killer ends up getting caught. It happens every time. They're caught, and it ends up stopping because they can't just continue to keep on doing that because people are on the lookout for it. They're looking for it. They want to see it. Now, I'm going to go to a different example here and just stay with me here because I'm trying to make a point. So let's look at what the Nazis did with the Jews. The Nazis did not tell the Jews, hey, listen, we are going to bring you to a concentration camp and work you till you die. And hey, by the way, if you're not capable of doing that, we're just going to go ahead and kill you. And, this, by getting on this train, we're taking you somewhere where you're going to be harmed. They didn't tell them that. Instead, they told them, we're going to take you to a better life, or you're going to go on vacation. And this is in the masses, they just started going because they believed that things were going to be better. They were being told that things would be better. It didn't all seem right because this was a little unorthodox the way things were happening, but by the masses, they started just following because there was this promise of a better life. They were being lied to. They were told, you're going to have a better life. And had they been told the truth, they would not have complied. They would not have went down that path. And so I want to go back now to this thing about the thief. The thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. How is the thief doing this? And the bottom line is he's lying, making the promise of life. He's packaging things really pretty. He's making things appear to be right. He's a very convincing force that is out there telling us that this is what we should be doing. This is the way your life should be doing. Or if you want abundant life, then you'll do these certain things. And us being smart people want to do what's right, so we go and we begin to follow and start doing all the things that much of the world around us is telling us to do. In fact, I'm going to go out and say that Americans, for the most part, are pursuing what I refer to as a distorted American dream. I think that it's one of the biggest lies that is being perpetuated to our society and our culture, that life is all about accumulation of more and having assets and wealth and buying all of this stuff. And I'm not even going to say that any of that stuff is bad. But when that becomes the goal of our life, it takes away from other things. When that becomes our life, that was not what our life was intended to be. It becomes a problem. So Jesus promises life abundantly. And so there's many people who are just challenged with this because, some of the things that Jesus says is we're more blessed to give, or it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. Now, that really doesn't make much sense to people. it doesn't make sense to give, and that's a blessed. I mean, in the world that we live in, it seems like we're more blessed if we receive something. We get more, and we can accumulate more. And so people have a hard time wrapping their head around something like that. How can it be more blessed to give than it is to receive? Jesus also says that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And, that's a head scratcher. I mean, come on now, that doesn't make sense. And, we as intelligent people, we want things to make sense. We want to be able to explain things. And Jesus is teaching us how to do things that's countercultural to what the world around us is telling us to do. It's not the same message that the world says. The world says, no, win, be first. You got to be at the top of the list. You want to be the most well-known person. And Jesus is saying, no, the last shall be first. Again, that doesn't make sense. It sort of goes against our human nature. And so many people just find it challenging to be pursuing something that is countercultural to what we're doing. In fact, most people end up just going down this other path where it makes sense to us. And that path, I want to suggest, for most people, it's a lie. We want to have it so badly that we pursue this lie, and what we end up sacrificing in pursuit of that lie is life itself, the abundant life that Jesus came to give. So I believe that the thief is having a heyday with stealing, killing, and destroying. And so there's something, whether you believe the same thing that I do or not, you have to, at a minimum, acknowledge that there's something out there that is working against people, that is working against you, that there's an evil force, there's a good force. There's something building, there's something tearing down. There are two different things going on. So I want to go ahead, I want to just try to put something, an example of how this might be happening in your own life, and maybe something that you can relate it to, is that this thing called good debt. Most everyone who is going to be listening to this is aware of the fact that there's good debt and bad debt. And we tend to subscribe to, that good debt is using debt to buy a house or for an education. And, I've become almost so far removed from that, I don't even know what they're considering all the things to be good debt today. But because of that, we want to go and do the right thing. We want to do what's right. And we are being told by the society and culture around us that there is good debt, and you should go into debt for certain things because these are good things. And we, being the smart people that we are, want to do the right thing. So naturally, we'll buy into that. We're going to go into debt. We're going to do the things that we're supposed to do because we want to do what's right. We're good people. We're smart people. And we don't want to be stupid. We want to do the right thing. And but as I look now, that good debt that is out there is destroying more families than anything else in this country. Debt is the thing that is tearing away the fabric of the family. It is creating situations where children are growing up in homes without their fathers. Their mothers and fathers are in conflict. Many homes, even when the parents do decide to stay together, are not living and experience abundant life, but they're experiencing life in conflict underneath the same roof. And that has absolutely, positively nothing to do with this life that Jesus came to give. Jesus came to give so much more. Instead, it's a lie that is what's destroying the fabric of family. It's a lie that's destroying the fabric of this country. And so I want to suggest that in many people's lives that this good debt is nothing more than another lie that people have bought into. And there's many, many different ones. Jesus is the one who advocates no debt. He doesn't say that there's good debt and bad debt. The Bible doesn't say anywhere in there that there's good debt. He advocates no debt. And you will be hard-pressed to find a couple or families where they have absolutely no debt who have the same struggles that families who are pursuing all these good things have. I honestly, I don't have the statistics. I wish I did have the statistics of that, but I would go out on a limb and say that the divorce ratio, families who have no debt versus those who are deep in debt, there's going to be a staggering difference between the two of them, because the conflict that comes into a family who believes that they're doing everything right, yet this thing that they believe is doing everything right is creating all this conflict in their lives, is more than what people can handle. And so we are told little lies all the time. And so I'm going to put it out there and say that the thing that is keeping people from living and experiencing an abundant life is a lie. And it is the thief's tool that he uses to steal, to kill, and to destroy the abundant life that you were intended to have, the abundant life that I believe Jesus came to give. Now, there was something else that I had mentioned a little bit earlier, and I talked about blaming people, and how we can blame the government, we can blame corruption, we can blame cultural differences or privileges that people may have over another, and say that that's the reason why my life isn't better than what it should be. And I wanted to bring that up. I didn't want to just let that go, because I do want to address that, and because I think it's important. I think that blaming others is another lie that we buy into. Rather than blaming others, we do need to just go ahead and take responsibility for where it is that we are in life. My life turned around. I had every excuse in the world. I did not have any privilege. I didn't have many of the things that so many other people had. I honestly was one of those people who had sort of a victim mentality for a while, saying that my life is never going to amount to anything because I don't have the things that so many other people have. And I decided one day I was going to take responsibility, and that my life was going to be better, and that there were plenty of other people who had been in my shoes in the past who made something of themselves, and I could do the same thing as well. But putting that aside, I do believe we all need to take responsibility for ourselves, but what other tools could the thief use to create conflict in your life and to keep you from living an abundant life? I'll go so far as to say that the thief can sit here and get you to really believe that it's somebody else's fault that you don't have the life that you want. If he can create conflict in relationships for you, you're never going to experience an abundant life. If he can get you believing that the reason your life isn't where you want it to be is because of somebody else, he's going to keep you from experiencing the life that Jesus came to give, the abundant life that Jesus wanted you to have. And so I wanted to throw it out there that I believe that this is just another lie. And, when you find yourself blaming or trying to put it on somebody else why you're not experiencing the life that you want to live, take a step back and give consideration to the fact that, there are these two forces. There is a force that's looking to build life up, and there's another one looking to tear life down. And maybe that one that's looking to tear your life down is telling you a lie and putting this lie into your head that it's somebody else's fault that you're not living and experiencing the life that you want to live. And so I want to encourage all of you to take this to heart. The verse that I brought up was Jesus, John 10:10, where Jesus was saying that the thief comes to steal, to kill, to destroy. And Jesus says, I have come that they may have life and they may have it to the full. And two different forces that are working out here. And we can all live and experience an abundant life. I just want to encourage you, watch out for the lies, because they're all around us. People are telling us lies all the time. The culture we live in is lying to us. The world we live in is lying to us. Not all of it's a lie, but much of it is. And we just have to be careful, be on guard for what those lies are. Again, I never met anybody who said, I want my life to stink. I don't want to live a good life. I want my life to be filled with struggles and conflict, and I don't want to be financially free. I want to be deep in debt and struggling. I've never met that person. Yet, most of the world around me is living exactly that way. That was not their goal, but they're pursuing a lie. And so I want to encourage you, get to hone in on what is truth. Stop blaming other people, take responsibility, get to know the truth, and pursue truth. Give it all you got. That's it for today. So I also just want to go ahead and let everybody know, I want to thank everybody who has joined me here on Facebook Live. This is a call that we do for our Lifeonaire community, and I am actually on a teleseminar right now with the Lifeonaire community. I'm going to be opening this up for discussion with them, but for right now, until I get to know, this is my first time ever using Facebook Live, until I get to know how this how Facebook Live works and how I might be able to do this here, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now. I want to encourage you, just please join us in the future for other ones, but I'm going to stay on our teleseminar so I can take questions and have discussion with those who are on the line. Everyone, thank you. Have a great day.